In this session, we're going to deal with some of the obstacles of the faith. The last time we went through what evangelization is and how that um, affects us also as we prepare ourselves to be evangelizers within our own faith community, our own community here at Sacred Heart. Today, like I said, I want to touch a little bit about some of the obstacles people might be experiencing and also just um, highlight a few uh, groups within the spectrum of our own little community here, which we probably will come across at various times, but also to be reminded that our focus, especially in trying to do evangelization, should be or is geared towards the inactive members within our community. And so, once again, making reference to Bishop Robert Barron's book, To Light a Fire on the Earth, Proclaiming the Gospel in a Secular Age. I read from chapter 8 of that book and also make some comments as I read along. Bishop Barron is well aware of the depressing statistics from the Pew Research Center's most recent study of the religious landscape in America, which found that nearly one third of American adults, that is about 31.7%, say they were raised Catholic. And among that group, fully 41% no longer identify with the Catholic Church. In saying this, we are obviously talking about lapsed Catholics. And so Bishop Barron continues by saying the implication is that a startling 12.9% of American adults are former Catholics. And if ex Catholics form their own denomination, it would be the second largest in the country. Meanwhile, just 2% of US adults have converted to the Catholic Church from other religious traditions. No other religious group in the country had such a lopsided ratio of losses to gains. Drilling down into the Pew data, the bishop continues, it is clear that not every Catholic walked away for the very same reasons. Some joined another, often more progressive mainline Christian church. Others embraced a generally more conservative evangelical or Pentecostal denomination. In saying this, I also want to make reference to the fact that even within our own community here in Coronarsville, our own Catholic community could be seen as one of the minorities. And so our efforts to evangelize becomes very important, especially knowing that with our numbers, if people decided or chose, for various reasons, not to embrace or continue in the practice of the faith, that number goes down. Bishop Barron continues to highlight a second group of former, if you will, Catholics or lapsed Catholics, or even people who identify themselves as nuns. That is Nones, nuns. Until very recently, in casual conversation, Catholics never really found themselves spelling out the word in order to make clear whether they were talking about nuns, Nuns, or nuns, Nones. But such are the shifting plates of American religion in the early 21st century. That same Pew study found that there are now approximately 56 million religiously unaffiliated adults in the United States, and this group is more numerous than either Catholics or mainline Protestants. Only the number of evangelical Protestants remains larger. Moreover, if present trends continue, time would seem to be on the side of the nuns. Millennials, for instance, show much lower levels of religious affiliation than older generations. Fully 36% of young millennials between the ages of 18 and 24 are religiously unaffiliated, as are 34% of older millennials ages 25 to 33. Those nuns, by the way, are increasingly likely to describe themselves in secular terms. The last time Pew did such a study in 2007, 26% of nuns said they were atheists or agnostics, but that share had gone up to 31% by 2015. And so, looking at this landscape, it doesn't seem very, if you will, encouraging. But in of itself, that should not discourage us from, if you will, reaching out also to our own brothers and sisters within our own community who have become inactive for one reason or the other. The last group then for Bishop Barron deals with in his book on the chapter on the obstacles of faith are the atheists. Although in a sense this group is a subset of the nuns, Bishop Barron has come to think of what he calls the hardcore atheist, meaning disciples of figures such as Christopher Hitchens, Richard Dawkins, Samuel Harris, and Daniel Dennett, who collectively have been called the four horsemen of the new atheism. As a different group, in part, he treats them as a separate category because he believes their hostility to faith is much greater and therefore evangelical strategies directed to them have to be adjusted accordingly. We still do have a few people who struggle, even within our community, who might describe themselves now as atheists because of various things that have happened and various positions they have come to, if you will, consider even in their own journey. And so, at, at various points, we might encounter either lapsed Catholics who, for one reason or the other, are not able to come to church anymore. We also might encounter those who consider themselves as nuns, but also we might encounter those who see themselves presently, like Bishop Barron said, either as agnostic or atheists. In either case, we're called to reach out, invite, and if you will, welcome them and even try to encourage them as much as we can through our work and preaching.